kind of slow a little bit maybe. You don't really need anything. If you want to have Eduphoria open as we go, you can, but since this is only about 30 minutes, there's not a lot of doing. It's more listening, taking notes, hopefully getting at least one thing out of this that you didn't know you could already do. In Eduphoria, this is full of resources for you as well. And when we are done today, I'm going to email out the link to the entire presentation to the whole staff, so you'll all have a copy of it. And then I will have the video that after it processes, probably sometime tomorrow, I'll email that out as well. So we kind of slowed a little bit, so we will go ahead and get started. And if people jump in, that is fine. I am Lori Roberts, your educational technology specialist for the high schools. Lauren is here with us too. She is your technology integration specialist on your campus every Tuesday, except for today, since it is a PLC day, but she's with us virtually. We are talking Eduphoria. We're doing an overview. We're going to hit some high points in Strive, Aware, Formspace, and then some additional resources at the end. If you have any questions while we're going through, pop them into that chat box, and either Lauren will answer or I will answer as well. And then hopefully we'll have time at the end that we can unmute if you have any questions as well. So first, we're going to talk about Strive. Strive is where your professional learning happens to sign up for PD classes, and also where your evaluations live. And those are the two things that we're going to focus on today. So first, we're talking professional learning. So in Strive, if you go to My Professional Learning or the course catalog, you can see the sessions that you are currently enrolled in, and you can also see trainings to sign up for. We do have 3 different types of courses that we primarily offer in the Ed Tech department, and there are also these courses available through CNI as well. So the first category is live training. So that would include your face-to-face trainings as well as virtual trainings like we're doing right now, where it is live, and I wasn't going to say the word, but I'm going to say it, synchronous type training. That is what your live trainings are. So you can register and search for those in Eduphoria. I'm going to bring my little window open just so you can see this. So when you're in Strive, you'll click on course catalog and you get a listing of all the available courses to you. You can search on the right-hand side by a course name. You can also search by the type of course that it is. So if it was a digital badge course, if it was an e-course, technology, by your different content areas, you can refine by those as well. You can also search by time period and then the types of courses there as well. So there are a lot of courses that you can go and sign up for. We also have e-courses. E-courses are, some people have used them in the past. We're starting to use them a little bit more now since we are virtual. And so these are like your asynchronous trainings that you would have here in e-courses. We offer 2 different types of e-courses through technology. We have self-paced courses, which are set up through Google Classroom, and there are videos you watch and assignments that you complete in order to get credit. These courses that are the self-paced usually give you more hours, so they range anywhere from 3 to 6 hours for a course, and so it may take you a little bit longer. We did these types of courses in the summer for the exchange time, so some of those courses have been brought back, and I've restructured some of them, and I am working to create more. And then we also have in there some recorded WebExes. So if I've done 7-hour-long webinars so far this year that were live, I recorded all of them. I put those in Eduphoria as well. So all you have to do to get credit for those classes is go watch the YouTube video, and the link is in the course. And then you take a 5-question quiz. You make a 75 or better, and you get your hour credit. So if you need additional PD credits to go in with your goals or for your certification renewals, you can use those as well. And then our last type of courses that we have are digital badges. Digital badges are still happening, and Many of you are doing great technology things. And so all you have to do to earn the digital badge is show proof that you used that piece of technology with your students or in class. So we do have WebEx badges that you can get for hosting or participating in a WebEx. All you would need to do is take a screenshot or a picture and attach that, and you would get your credit. There's also Google Classroom badges, Google Drive, Google Docs, all the Google stuff, all the Apple things. We have lots of badges that you can earn. Once you earn the badge, it is yours to keep, and then you can continue to try to earn additional badges as well. So those are our 3 types of professional learning courses. They are built into Strive because they are linked to your evaluations. So that leads us into the evaluation section. Now, I believe goals have already been due. Am I correct on that statement? I think they were due like last week or week before last. Okay, so I saw head nods. So what I'm going to talk about is not necessarily the goal writing portion, but ways that you can prove that you are accomplishing your goal. So when you go into your evaluation section, and you look at your goals, and I've grayed out somebody's goal here. This is the teacher view. So if you're not a classroom teacher, yours is going to look a little bit different. I'm going to show you another place you can upload evidence. But for my teachers that have goals set, you would go into your goal, and then at the very bottom of the screen, there's an option for evidence. You click on that Add Evidence button, and then a pop-up will open, and there are 4 different types of evidence you can add. You can add text, so you would just type text into this box to say, I did this on this date to help accomplish this goal. Okay, so that's straight text. The second option is really nice. It is your file upload option. So you can upload classroom photos that help prove this. You can upload lesson plans, screenshots from student work that is happening, work samples from students, screenshots from Strive data or data that you're using if this is your student goal versus your professional goal. You can upload different types of evidence so that when your appraiser goes in to look at these goals, they would see all of the evidence to show that you actually accomplished that goal. The third option that you have is link, and this is where you could paste in a link if you have your own classroom website, if you have documents. For example, I have a spreadsheet where I keep track of my data on how I am fulfilling my goal, and it's in a Google Sheet. So I share that with my boss, Steve Custer, and then I paste the link in here so it's also part of my goal record in Strive. And then the last option is workshop portfolio entry. So once you've gotten credit for a professional learning class, whether it be live training, an e-course, or even a digital badge, you can link that portfolio entry in with your Strive goal. So for example, some teachers made their professional goal, I want to earn at least 2 new badges each semester. So what you can do is add that portfolio entry in here as your evidence so that your appraiser doesn't have to go and search to see if you've accomplished that goal. It's all built in right here for them to see in one place. Did y'all know that was there? Some yeses, some nos. So hopefully that's one new thing that you learned today, and we'll learn some more. So if you are not a classroom teacher, and even if you are, another place you can add evidence is on the main screen. This exists outside of your evaluation process, and it's not linked to a specific goal like the last option was. All staff will see this. So when you go to my evaluation process, underneath evaluation, there's an option for uploaded evidence. This one, you click on the pinkish purple plus sign. When you do, you get a pop-up box, and this one you can actually link this evidence to direct domains in your t-test. So if you had a walkthrough, for example, and you didn't get very high on one of your domains, you could upload a piece of evidence to prove that you're doing one of those domains to help state your case, so to say, if you're going to go back and have another meeting with your person, or let's say they do 5 walkthroughs and they never see one of these things because they just never happen to come in a time when you're doing that. You can upload that document evidence to help on your t-test evaluations. So this is a new thing. I don't think this was in here last year. Since they've revamped Strive, this is a new option that you have available to you as well. And all staff has this. So if you're not a classroom teacher, you do still have this. You could put in the description how you are linking it to your goals as well. So that's the evaluation portion of Strive. Next, we're going to talk about Aware. And Aware for many of us has been a place where we only kind of went to one little area, which is probably Analyze when you're going to go look at your data from different tests. But assessments is now a huge piece for all of us. So we're going to talk about both of them now. So when you log into the Aware portion of Eduphoria, on the left-hand side, you have a number of tabs. And depending on what kind of access you have, you may see different tabs than what I have here. This is what I see. And usually it goes straight to Analyze. But if you go to the Assessment tab, this is where you can actually create and share your own tests. So those of you that are core content teachers, you know we did the benchmark CBA testing through Eduphoria Aware. Your CNI person wrote those tests and then gave you access to them. But you can also create your own teacher tests using this same method. I recorded a video on this whole process because it took me about 30 minutes to get through the entire training piece. So I do have a video on how you can create your own tests. As always, if you need help with it, you've got me and Lauren to assist. But what you can add in are short answer type questions. They call those constructed responses. So that's something the teacher has to manually grade. There's also multiple choice answer options that would be graded for you. So instead of, say, using a Google form for your test, you could use Eduphoria Aware to create the test. The benefit to that is that when the students go in to take the test in Aware, Eduphoria has modeled the testing interface to look like STAR. So that's one of the reasons we're using it to get students prepared for what the online STAR test is going to look like if and when we have to make the transfer to more online testing. If students have supports, so if they have text to speech, if they're I can't remember, there's 3 of them. Text-to-speech is the biggest one. So if they have text-to-speech option, the test will read it to them. So you don't have to go and record yourself reading the test. The system would do that for them. And those supports are set by this special education department. So if a student gets those supports, they're already in there. You can also go and add in supports for any students. Oh, they're kind of iffy on some. So you may have to check, you can add in the supports you need to per student. So that's in there as well. You can also through Eduphoria tag your questions to specific TEKs. So Google Forms won't let you do that. Eduphoria will. So that's another benefit to using the Eduphoria system over using Google Forms. Google Forms is great for quick and easy assessments, but I think if you're really trying to dig out data and get good information on how the students are doing, Eduphoria is a great place for that. You can add in images, you can add in videos, you can add in audio clips as well. So if you wanted to record, I just saw Miss Kerr's eyes get big, you can record a video of yourself speaking a sentence in Spanish and the kids have to listen to it and then they have to translate it. So you could do that as well through this system. Can't really do that easily in Google Forms. So I highly encourage all of you, all content areas, to look at this a little bit more as an option for test taking. And I will also mention that Eduphoria has added in an option for, drumroll, the lockdown browser option to be able to lock students into the test on their device, so that they can't use any outside websites. Now, we're still in the process of testing this to make sure that everything works smoothly. We didn't want to tell anybody about it for the CBAs and the benchmarks because we were trying to just get people accustomed to taking the test this way. So once we know everything is working well, we will send out information and how to do this and how to set it up. Because it's basically going to lock them in just like the STAR testing app locks them into that application and they can't get out. So for my math people, if your students did need to use the TI calculator on their iPad, you can't use Lockdown Browser because it locks them into just the app. So they can't use anything outside of it. So it is something to keep in mind, but I did want to mention it because it is coming and you can't do that with Google Forms either. So I hope I've given you at least some ideas to try it for your own small quizzes or tests and assessments in your classroom. Another great thing that you can do is if you build a test and you want to share it with someone else in the district, you can share your test with anyone in the district via email. So you just put in their email address and then the test automatically shows up for them in their Eduphoria underneath my teacher tests. And it would show up if I shared this test with Lauren. When Lauren opens my teacher test, it would say practice test Potter, and then it would say from Lori Roberts. So she would know that it's not a test she created, it's a test that I shared with her. So you can do that as well. And then some of you have teams that you've set up in Eduphoria, and you can also create team tests with your team members that you can share amongst yourself as well. The advantage of doing it the team test method is you can compare data amongst your team as well. I think anyone can create a team. Lisa just asked. At the very bottom, you should see team management, create or edit your teams. If you don't see that, let us know. But I think anybody can create their own teams. Okay, good. And then the last thing that I shared here is how to grade constructed responses. It might not be where you would think it would be. You've got to go in once a test is done, and you're actually going to choose enter answers for someone. And then once you go in there, you'd be able to actually grade those constructed responses. And Eduphoria has a great video on this. Since I'm not a teacher, I don't see the same thing that y'all do. So I've linked to their video because it's a great video on how to actually grade those pieces if you've never done it before. Many of those of you in the core classes, y'all have done that before, so you know what that looks like. But just in case, I put that in there for everybody as well. Another feature that you've got in here for the test is an ability to create a resource and have one picture, like in my example, the Hogwarts crest, and I can link multiple questions to the one picture, just kind of like how they do on STAR. You have one reading passage, one audio clip, maybe one video, and you want to ask multiple questions based off of that. So it will keep that resource with all the questions so that if you were to choose scramble the responses and scramble the answer or the questions, it would keep those resources together because you can just, it's one little toggle and it will automatically rearrange for every student answer choices and questions so that their neighbor is not going to have the exact same test that they have. So that's another benefit to trying out the Eduphoria testing over the a Google form. And then, oops, I did have all of these. You can also search for assessments up here at the top. So as you add more assessments, you are going to have, they're going to be either under My Teacher Tests or under school assessments or district assessments. For me personally, I find it very hard to remember where I need to go to drill down a million clicks to find the test. I don't know if anybody else has that problem but me. Yes, okay, good. I got eyeballs, so I know that's true. So what I do instead is I go to search assessments and I type in a word from the test and it takes me straight there. So then I don't have to drill down a million clicks to get to the test that I need. So that search assessments is up there at the top too. Okay. And then once you have created your test, let me go back. Also up here at the top, my test right now is pending. The title of the test, Lisa, so you're searching for the title of the test. My test is pending, so no one's going to see it. My kids aren't going to see it. I have to make my test available or active for me to be able to push it out to my kids. So make sure to make it active. And then once you do, when you go to your Analyze tab, you're going to see Test Available at the top. Then once you click on Test Available, you'll see a list of all the tests. They're grouped by the type of test they are. My Teacher Test, Team Test, Campus Assessments are all grouped together. And then what you have to do is, if you want your kids to take it online, is there's a button off to the side that looks like a little computer with a mouse attached to it. You click on that option and it says online test proctoring, and it'll change to a check mark. And that means it is now available to send out to the kids. It's not, the kids can't see it yet. What you have to do then is click on online test proctoring at the top. And I have a video that shows you, walks you through this whole process. It's about a 5-minute video. Once you click on online test proctoring, you'll then get a list of each of your sections and each of the tests that are active for those sections. What you do is you open up the class. You then see all of your kids listed. You can either select all your kids in a class period and start the test for all of them, or if you were in your room, you could see who was there. You can check just the kids that were present and start it just for them. That way, if you knew Lauren was on a field trip that day, that's probably not a good choice because we don't do field trips right now. So if Lauren was just absent, let's say that Lauren was absent, I may not want to start her test, because if she was absent, she could go in and look at all the questions and then write down the answers and then come back and take the test later. So to prevent that from happening, I would suggest only starting the test for those kids that are present in your room or virtually online, so that you know that they are taking the test. Some teachers select all and start it for all. That's fine as well. It's up to you, but just know that that could be an option. One thing we don't want you to do is don't start the test for all of your class periods at 7 o'clock in the morning. If you do that, then your 8th period kids could go in and take the test and see the questions, and everybody's nodding their head that they get it. So make sure you only start the test for the kids that class period that is happening. You'll see a status over on the right-hand side that'll tell you if the student has completed the test, if they've started or not. You'll also see if they're in progress or inactive on the test from here. If your test was 100% multiple choice, true, false, it'll also say graded, and it'll grade it for them automatically there too. If you need to force submit a kid, you can. You can also choose to reopen. So if a kid accidentally submitted the test, or you accidentally submitted the test for a kid, this little button off to the side will change to reopen, and it'll actually let the kid get back in without having to start all over. We found this last week. I didn't realize this was here. So you can do that as well. It's off to the side. I saw some big eyeballs, so I know that's a good one. And then if you need to edit the supports, they're right there in the middle. So if you needed to change anybody to a text-to-speech, maybe SPED didn't put it in yet, or it's a 504, so SPED didn't get those in, you might have to come over here and click on the pencil. You'll get 3, I think it's 3 right now, text-to-speech, and there's 2 other options that I can't remember off the top of my head. You check those boxes, and then that student would get those supports when they take the test. If a kid was absent, the testing, we finished the test the next day, the kid, you want to make them available to take the test, you'd go check next to just that student's name that you need to open the test for, and then you'd say start selected, and it would start the test for that kid. Always remember to stop at the end of the period, unless you're giving them time to take it outside of the class time. Remember to stop it so the kids can't go in and out if they want to. So that's in there as well. And then I've also linked to a video that I did not create and Eduphoria did not create, but it's a data person from another school district, and it is a great explanation for the beginner on how to look at the data in Eduphoria and what all the buttons mean and what the preset templates and reports look like. It's an amazing video. It's about 6 minutes. It explains it really well. But the one thing to note is when you go to analyze and you go down to the test that you want to see the grades on, it's going to automatically pop up in the student score option, and it's going to give you their scores. So then you can take that score and put it into Teams, into your frontline grade book for the student. So that's where you actually see the grades. It's in the Analyze tab, and you've got to drill down to that test. Again, you can search at the top, search data for the actual test. You can also compare between classes really easily using Eduphoria compared to, say, a Google form. Okay. And then the last thing that I want to show y'all is Formspace, which is what we use for app requests. So in Eduphoria, some of you may have never gone to this section. There's an option called Formspace. Once you click on it, it opens up to this screen. And if you had an app that you needed on the kids' devices for your class, let's say that you needed the kids to use Edpuzzle and Edpuzzle wasn't in self-service, it is, but let's say it's not. There is a link. I've given you the link here. It's also on our website to see the entire app approved list. So any app that's in that spreadsheet for high school here, these are all the apps that students have available to them in self-service. If you need something that's not on this list already, that's when you would come to Formspace. You would click on Submit a New Form. You'd click on Technology. Once you do, another screen is gonna pop up. You'd pick App Approval. You're in high school, so you're gonna pick high school. That way it comes to me. And then you fill out the form. It asks for what is the app name, who is the developer, what do you need to use this for, give us a little bit of information, and then it sends it to me to go test on our student test iPad to make sure everything works properly. Once we know that it works properly, we'll come in here and approve the app approval, and we'll get it pushed out to the students. So that's kind of what that process looks like if you and your students need an app on the iPad that is not in self-service for them already, okay? So I wanted to go through that a little bit. There's that submit button, and then you can see the approval process. It'll come to me via email, and usually within a week, it will get it approved or denied, okay? So that is it on our little overview. I hope you learned at least one new thing today. And hopefully, if you haven't tried Eduphoria testing to create your own test, you'll give that a go sometime soon. Hey, maybe even for semester exams this year, that may be a good option for you. And on our website, we have links to all of our resources. There is an Eduphoria link. If you click on it, it will take you to help videos and resources on all of these things. As always, Lauren and I are here to assist and help however we can. So reach out and let us know. Are there any questions that we didn't hit? You can raise your hand or you can pop it in the box.